It's late at night. You step outside to take out the trash, and something pale and hunched freezes in your flashlight beam. Beady eyes. A hairless tail. A mouth full of 50 sharp teeth, wide open, hissing at you like it just crawled out of a nightmare. Your instinct kicks in immediately. Grab a shovel. Call animal control. Get it off my property before it hurts someone. But what if I told you that terrifying creature in your yard is, biologically speaking, one of the most harmless, most misunderstood, and most quietly helpful animals in your entire neighborhood? What if that hissing, drooling display isn't aggression at all, but the most elaborate bluff in the animal kingdom? Today we're going to take apart nearly everything you think you know about possums. By the end, you may find yourself rooting for the strange little creature you once wanted gone. Part 1. The Misunderstood Monster. Let's start with that first encounter, because it's almost always the same. You spot it near the fence, or rummaging through a knocked-over trash can, and it does something that looks unmistakably threatening. It opens its mouth wide, baring rows of teeth. It hisses. It drools. Sometimes it even lunges slightly in your direction. Every instinct in your body says danger. This animal is aggressive. This animal wants to hurt me. Here's what nobody tells you in that moment. That entire performance, the teeth, the hissing, the drool, it's a show. Possums are, without question, one of the least aggressive mammals you will ever encounter in your backyard. That terrifying display isn't a warning before an attack. It's a bluff, and it's usually the only weapon they have. Possums are not fighters. They're not built for it. Their actual strategy for survival is almost the exact opposite of confrontation, and once you understand it, that snarling face on your porch starts to look a lot less like a monster and a lot more like a frightened animal doing everything it can to make you leave it alone. Part 2. The Science Behind the Bluff. So why all the theatrics if they don't actually want to fight? Because showing teeth and hissing costs an opossum nothing, and it works more often than not. Most predators, including humans, respond to that display by backing away. It's a low-risk strategy. No blood, no injury, no real confrontation, just noise and posture doing all the work. But here's where it gets stranger. If the bluff fails, if the threat keeps coming, possums don't escalate. They don't bite. They don't fight back. Instead, they do something almost unbelievable. They collapse. This is not a choice. It's not a decision the opossum consciously makes. It's an involuntary physiological response, an extreme stress reaction that shuts the animal down completely. Its body goes rigid. Its lips pull back into something that looks like a lifeless grimace. It drools. It may even release a foul-smelling fluid from glands near its tail. Its heart rate drops. Its breathing slows dramatically. To every sense a predator has, sight, smell, and sound, the opossum now appears completely dead. This is the origin of the phrase playing possum, and it is one of the most extreme defense mechanisms in the entire animal kingdom. The opossum isn't performing. It has entered a kind of catatonic state that can last anywhere from minutes to several hours. It cannot choose to snap out of it early, even if the danger is still standing right there. Think about how strange that actually is. An animal so committed to nonviolence that its final line of defense is to make its own body appear lifeless and let a predator lose interest, rather than risk any kind of physical confrontation. Part 3. Why they're almost never dangerous. Now let's address the fear directly, because a lot of it centers on disease. Possums have an unusually low body temperature compared to most mammals, and that has a remarkable side effect. Rabies requires a specific internal temperature to survive and replicate inside a host, and in a possum's naturally cooler body makes it an extremely poor environment for the virus. Documented cases of rabid possums are exceptionally rare, far rarer than in raccoons, foxes, or even stray dogs. On top of that, possums are largely immune to the venom of several snake species, including rattlesnakes and copperheads, thanks to a specialized protein in their blood. Researchers have studied this protein specifically because of its potential medical applications for treating snake bites in humans. So the creature baring its teeth at you in the dark is, in reality, one of the cleaner, lower-risk wild animals you're likely to encounter. It isn't a walking disease vector. It isn't hunting your pets. In the vast majority of interactions, it simply wants to be left completely alone. Part 4. The Unpaid Pest Control Specialist. Here's where the story shifts from surprising to genuinely useful for you. Possums are opportunistic omnivores, which is a polite way of saying they'll eat almost anything, and that includes a long list of pests most homeowners actively despise. Ticks, cockroaches, beetles, slugs, snails, and overripe fallen fruit are all regular parts of their diet. The tick statistic in particular tends to surprise people. Some research estimates that a single opossum can consume thousands of ticks in a single season simply through routine grooming and foraging, ticks that would otherwise end up on deer, on pets, or on you. In a world where tick-borne illnesses are a serious and growing concern, an animal quietly hoovering up that population every single night is not a threat. It's a service. They'll also clean up carrion, fallen fruit, and garden debris that would otherwise attract less desirable scavengers, rats among them. In many ways, an opossum patrolling your yard at night is running a small, unpaid sanitation and pest control operation, and asking for absolutely nothing in return. Part 5. The Slow Reproductive Cost. If possums are this beneficial, why don't people already know this? Part of the answer lies in how briefly they actually live, and how quickly that short life gets used up. Most wild possums survive only 1 to 2 years. Within that narrow window, a female may raise several litters, sometimes a dozen or more tiny young at once, each barely the size of a jelly bean at birth. They spend their first weeks nursing inside her pouch, and afterward continue riding on her back as she forages, completely vulnerable to cars, dogs, and cold weather the entire time. Very few possums live long enough to become the large, seasoned adults people picture as a nuisance. Most of the population is cycling through fast, working constantly, and dying young, all while providing pest control most homeowners never notice or thank them for. Part 6. What to do if one shows up. So what should you actually do if an opossum turns up in your yard? In the overwhelming majority of cases, the answer is simple: nothing. Let it pass through. Possums are transient by nature. They don't build permanent dens, and they rarely stay in one place for long. Give it space, keep pets inside for the night, and it will typically move along on its own well before morning. If one has taken shelter somewhere like a shed, a porch, or beneath a deck, the easiest solution is to leave a door or gap open and let it exit on its own terms once it feels safe, usually after dark. There's no need for traps, poison, or a call to animal control unless the animal appears visibly sick or injured, which is genuinely rare. Securing trash cans, sealing off crawl spaces, and removing easy food sources will naturally discourage repeat visits without any confrontation required. Part 7. Seeing it differently. So the next time you flip on a porch light and find that pale, hissing face staring back at you, take a breath before reaching for anything else. That performance you're seeing isn't a predator sizing you up. It's one of the gentlest mammals in North America, terrified, bluffing with everything it has, hoping you simply walk away. And if you do, it will slip quietly back into the dark and go right back to doing what it's been doing all along, cleaning up ticks, pests, and scraps that you never even knew were a problem. Nature rarely hands us a creature this misunderstood, and this useful, wrapped in a package this unsettling. But that's exactly what the opossum is. Not a monster at your fence. A quiet, exhausted worker just trying to make it through one more night. If this changed the way you see possums, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who's ever grabbed a broom the moment they saw one. Together, let's give some of nature's most misunderstood visitors the second chance they deserve. I'm Backyard Story, and I'll see you in the next one.